I've been seeing a number of things on Facebook about, there are people who love God and believe in God, and there are people who don't believe in God. They're, atheists, and there's atheist agnostics, people who do and don't believe. And there's a lot of people who, are very resentful against religion too, and they don't believe in religion. And so I just wanted to talk about that briefly for a minute because, sure, people have been abused by organized religion. So I understand why people, as they were growing up, if they were beaten, in a sense, with a stick over their head about organized religion, then then they're going to perhaps hate God or not believe in God or not want to go to church or temple or this or that. And the sad part about that is that they miss out on the good part. Okay, so there's, it's like throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you don't like organized religion, I can understand it completely. I think it's very manipulative and controlling, and it's all designed really for their own agenda and not necessarily for God's agenda or a healthy humanistic agenda. People don't want to believe in God, that's fine. But look at what God and religion actually gave us. When you look at the Bible, and it's not just the Bible, it's other religions also. Do unto others, the golden rule. Okay, so if God exists or doesn't exist, if religion is good or bad, if there's a heaven or a hell, all I know is that the golden rule, I was exposed to it because that's through the Bible, through reading the Bible. And my feeling is it is the ultimate psychological tool for happiness, health, wealth, inner peace, world peace. Do unto others. Treat others as we wish to be treated. So if you hate God or don't believe in him, or you hate religion or don't believe in it, that's fine. But look at the value that religion has given us. They have given us the one most powerful tool there is in the universe for personal happiness, self-esteem, success, and avoidance of terrible things happening to you. Because what happens when you don't treat others as you wish to be treated? What happens to you? They're gonna respond. They're gonna react. They're gonna rebel. They're gonna get angry. They're gonna oppose. They're gonna defend. They're gonna attack. When you treat people badly, it's going to come back at you one way or another. Maybe not through the same people who you did bad things to. It may come from somebody else entirely. But the point is, if you want the best chance of having like a happy life, free of people attacking you out of nowhere, guess what? It's not out of nowhere. It all comes from how you behave, how we comport ourselves. And remember, it's not just the words. We should be vigilant over our words, and and don't say things that we wouldn't like if people said them to us. We should listen to how we sound, and how our words might sound to somebody else before we say them. Like how would I feel if someone said that to me? This is called empathy, by the way. You try to put yourself in the position, in other people's position. Okay, so and try to feel how that might feel. And that's the key to doing to others and treating other people as you wish to be treated, the golden rule. If you can imagine what it would be like if you were at the other end of the stick, then perhaps you wouldn't behave that way. So the bottom line is your body language, your facial expression, the words that you use, smiling or frowning, everything you put out in the universe, is a statement of who you are, and it's like also, a role model for other people, and it's the law of reciprocity. What you put out, you will get back. What you give, you will get. That's why I tell people, if you want to be, forgiven, forgive others. If you want to be loved, love others. If you want people to be generous and kind towards you, be generous and kind towards others. Okay, so I started out this conversation by simply saying, there's so much jaded attitude towards God and religion. I don't blame people because it's all been abused and confused. We don't know what's really going on out there. We can believe one thing or another, but it's all feelings. It's not facts. And we all get so agitated and aggressive behind our religious ideas, and it needs to stop. Same thing with the political stuff. We get so agitated behind all of our political ideologies that all we want to do is smash something. No, that's not the way to go, okay? Because again, do unto others as you would wish done unto you. Yeah. So if you want to express your political opinions and you don't want someone smashing you in the face, so don't do it to others. It's the bottom line. The way our world is going to get better if you, me, everyone treats people as we wish to be treated. Think before we speak. Think before we act. Don't be so impulsive. Don't be so aggressive. Okay, I'm done with that topic. Somebody's asked me, what do you do? She's at a public event. She's actually a vegan, and she sits at a booth, and she does, and she gives out literature related to, I think, the World Peace Diet, which is a great book and a great, great organization. And she says, well, people will come up to her and start like babbling about stuff incessantly. They're so like sort of self-centered and self-absorbed, and they're not aware of how they're coming off. So she's just trying to, there's a big line of people, and she's trying to like, give people come in and ask questions and want some literature. And so you want to move the line along so as many people can be, right? So many people can be accommodated as possible. So what happens is some woman or man shows up and starts talking about their diabetes or his blood pressure or how much he loves cheese and ice cream. He doesn't want to give up dairy products and become a vegan and this and that, and on and on and on. And by the way, this is everywhere. People oftentimes don't pick up cues. We don't pick up the cues of other people. When people are kind of looking away, they're not staring at us anymore. They seem bored. What they're doing is they're sending us a message to stop talking. Yeah. So this woman though, who contacted me, she said these people they'll talk on and on and on and on. They don't let her get a word in edgewise, and she doesn't know how to stop it. She doesn't know how. Okay. So here's what you do. In all cases, here's what you do. You need to be polite. You need to be gentle and kind and polite and compassionate, but you need to set a boundary. This is all about boundaries. When you got somebody, babbling away and taking 20 minutes, and you've got like 20 people in line who each of them with like 1 minute, you got to move the line along for the greatest good of all concerned. So you say, you start out by validating, hey, listen, I'm really glad you came to the event today. And I'm really glad that you're asking questions and you're interested in the information and knowledge and this and that. And I find your story about your diabetes is very interesting. However, we've got a long line here. I have to try to accommodate as many people as possible. I hope you don't feel that I'm rude or insensitive, but it's important that, we move along, or it's important that I respond to what you've said. Let me make my response to everything you've said up to now. And then we need to move on. But so the point is, you need to set a boundary. In this case, the boundary is, look, I'd like to talk to you, but I can't. I have other things I need to do. In this case, talk to these other people. But it's even in life. If you're on the phone with someone and they're talking nonstop for like 15 minutes, you have the right to say to them, hey, I love you, I dig you, I'm glad you called, I'm glad we're talking, I'm so glad that you're filling me in on your life. The other things I got to do, and so really, I gotta move on. I gotta get off the phone. You can be kind, gentle, compassionate, understanding, and at the same time, get your own needs met. Okay, everything is balanced. Everything is, again, treat others as you wish to be treated. This guy was saying about resentments and triggers that people push his buttons, and then when people push his buttons and he gets really angry, and then he starts spewing all the things he's angry about, all his resentments that he has built up towards this person over the years, and then he just starts like saying horrible things. And he asked me to kind of speak to this. Okay, that's why you need to get rid of resentments, because what happens is if you don't get rid of resentments and you hang on to them and you store them up and you keep them like all piled up inside of you, and then the other person says the sky is blue, and boom, you want to chew their head off, or you give them a hard time. It's because you haven't processed and released the resentment. Bringing up the past when you're having an argument with somebody is inappropriate. It's just wrong. You need to not do it. And for your own peace of mind, you need to try to release your anger and your resentments because it hurts you. Same as always with the law of reciprocity, and what you do to others comes back to you. So if you're angry and resentful and bitter and aggressive, you're going to push people away rather than attract people to you. And for the most part, you may not get the things that you want. So just because someone pokes a stick at you and provokes you, they know what your hot spots are, your triggers are. They say something that really gets under your skin. And so what happens? So you feel attacked, you get defensive and angry, you want to attack back. So you pull something out of the past that they said to you 12 years ago, and to sting them and stun them and beat them up with it. Okay. So the whole thing is inappropriate. the key is to disengage. The key is always to disengage. Okay, so if somebody triggers you, first of all, know that. So if you're going to sort of, you're going to be bumping into somebody, or someone's going to show up, and they trigger you, then be prepared. Be prepared and kind of psych yourself up that you're not going to let that happen. You're not going to let yourself be triggered to the point where you lose your control and you say something or do something rude or insulting or unkind. You've got to pay attention, but you have to disengage. So if someone starts pushing on your buttons and starts triggering you, you have to disengage. Okay, you go away. So you won't say something mean or rude. So what you can say to them is, you can say, hey, you're really upsetting me. I'm really getting angry. I don't want to say something I don't mean, so I'm going to go away. We can discuss this or not discuss this at a later date, but I'm going to leave it's not good that we be around right now. But also, if you can ever get to a state of calm, you tell the person about their triggers, and you try to have a conversation about how they trigger you and how you would like them to stop triggering you or stop doing these things because you see them as provoking you and instigating things and escalating you, and it's really not loving and kind. And you can have that conversation with people. Some people aren't aware that they are particularly mean or abusive or sarcastic or poking a stick at you when they say stuff. A lot of people are quite aware of it, and they get some kind of little guilty pleasure out of it. But sometimes people aren't aware of those behaviors. But either way, you need to get your needs met. And the way you get your needs met is to tell people that you don't like their behavior. And if someone's poking a stick at you and provoking you, you need to have a discussion with them calmly. And if you can't have a calm discussion with them because then they're going to interrupt you and not let you get your point across. And it's going to turn into a big fight, and they're going to distract you, and you're never going to be able to make your case. Then write them a note, a letter, an email, whatever, a text, and express very clearly. Take the time to express clearly your position, and then send it to them. That way, they will read it. They can reread it. You won't get interrupted. You get to make your case, and then you might say at the end of the letter, hopefully you'll think about this, and perhaps we can talk about it in a calm way and try to come to a better understanding and make our relationship better. That's always the key. Try to make the relationship better. Okay, so in general, a sort of a reminder about when you're arguing with people, or even when people are discussing stuff and you're discussing things. It's very common for people to interrupt each other. And so I would encourage you to try to be aware of this and sensitive to this, and don't interrupt. Avoid interrupting people. You need to go back and forth. Even if you think you know exactly what the person is going to say, you want to give them the respect and let them complete their sentence, and then you can respond. Because first of all, you don't always know what they're going to say. They may fool you. But this is the way miscommunications happen, is when people interrupt, and then the other person gets angry, and so there's ongoing interruptions and miscommunications and misunderstandings and resentments build up. So it's really best not to interrupt. Let the person speak. You listen. You think about what you want to say, and then you say it. And then they speak, and then you speak. You don't want to interrupt. However, if they are, as I talked about earlier, somebody who just goes on and on and on and on and on, and they don't want to hear what you have to say, they just want to hear what they have to say, then you do need to interrupt them, and you need to say, excuse me, you are kind of hogging the conversation. You're really not letting me put my 2 cents in here. We're not really having a conversation at all. It's really just you just telling me stuff, and I would prefer that I get to give some feedback. I get to talk a little bit about what I want to talk about. You do this. If people get upset and angry with you for trying to better define the relationship and the rules of engagement, have a conversation about that, or maybe you shouldn't hang around those people.